Thanks for listening to Gossip with Celebrity, brought to you by Celebrity.com. This week we talk about the royals, both in England and Japan. We end with our weekly feature, The Comments of the Week. The stories, photos, and tweets we talk about can be found at Celebrity.com/podcast under episode 106. Hi, I'm Katie, the founder and editor of Celebrity.com, and I write a Celebrity.
And who am I? I'm Chandra. I'm so flummoxed. All right, I'm Chandra. I'm the head writer for I'm Chandra. I'm the head writer for Celebrity, and I write as Kaiser.
You use flummox like it's just a common word to you, and you just come up with it. You don't have to look at a thesaurus or anything. That's cute. So we were off last week, as you guys probably know. We'll have episodes out the next 2 weeks, and then we'll be off November 20th and November 27th, just because it's Thanksgiving.
So wait, we're on for 3 weeks?
No.
We're on for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
This is 1 week, and then we'll be on next week, and then...
Yes.
I think you're... Never mind.
I'm going to pull up the calendar.
We'll figure it out later.
I swear I looked at the calendar for this.
All right.
30th is when this one's coming out. And then we'll have episodes the 6th and the 13th. Yup. And then we're off the 20th and 27th.
So I was right. We're doing it 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah, but we'll have episodes out the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, I understand.
I didn't say it wrong. I did not. You made it sound like I said it wrong.
I was just double checking that we're doing it 3 weeks in a row. That's all I was trying to do.
Okay. So this is one of the weeks. He snorted. I'm leaving it. Oh my god. Okay.
Between forgetting my name and then not understanding weekly math.
So you admit you didn't get it. So, all right. I watched this past weeks when we were off. I watched all of that third season of You with Penn Badgley. I never can say his last name, whatever.
I think it's just Badgley.
Yeah, Penn Badgley, like Badgley Mishka. That was crazy and stupid, and I wanted everybody to die, and most of them did.
I've never watched that show. I've just never been into it. Although I do like him. I think Penn Badgley he seems like a cool guy.
Yeah.
I'm not interested
Well,
in
if you like Dexter, and if Dexter was more of a terrible person, like if he killed his girlfriends instead of... That's what Joe is on You.
Yeah, I did like Dexter, even though I found the show pretty stupid at times.
Yeah.
Like, the first season was really good. The first season of Dexter is close to perfect, but after that, it was just kind of stupid.
Yeah, I only watched the first, I think, 3 seasons of Dexter, and I didn't like it that much either after that. But it's fun. It totally killed time, and you can't pay attention to anything else because it has all these stupid twists and turns. And you change your opinions of the characters. But yeah, that was a crazy show. What have you been watching?
I've been doing a rewatch of Mad Men. I follow the Twitter account that does just all Mad Men quotes.
Oh yeah, I've seen you retweeting those. Yeah.
I just got in a thing where I was like, God, I really need to just start rewatching that show. It was an hour-long drama, and it's about alcoholism and all of these really dark themes. And so it takes a second to get into the rhythm of it, but I'm stuck in the 5th season when Don marries Meghan and everything kind of goes to hell for a short time on the show.
Because he relives his childhood traumas and stuff?
I just never liked his marriage to Meghan. I never liked any of that part. Yeah, there were specific scenes that I really wanted to rewatch. And the show was very good. I think in retrospect, it was oh shit, this was a really well-written show. And really well acted too. Elizabeth Moss again, and Christina Hendricks just knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, she's excellent. So I've never watched it. Well, I've seen maybe 3 episodes, and I had the problem that you mentioned where I tried to get into it and I couldn't get into it. I was like, this isn't for me. I think it was just the whole old boys club. They pissed me off. It was so male-centric. That might have been the problem I had with it.
Yeah, I think it's not a documentary of the time period, but it is very historically accurate. Yeah. What I like is that there are men who do terrible things, and then they also go out of their way to mentor women. Don Draper is a disgusting man in a lot of ways, but he also mentors Elizabeth Moss's character and really is her champion and teaches her everything he knows. And he didn't have to. He just, he saw something in her and he was like, yeah, that's my girl.
Nice. So today is Karen's birthday.
Happy birthday.
She listens to us, of course, and she's always going to the Zooms, and she co-runs the Zooms with me. So when I want to leave early, I just make her the host. And I wanted to acknowledge her for doing that for me and for us. So happy birthday. So the server company is doing some work on the site next weekend. So we might have the site be down a little bit on Saturday. We don't know how long this is going to take. We're just giving people a heads up. We'll put a notice on the site when we're closer to it. We're still figuring out what they're going to do. So just so you know.
There just might be some technical issues over next weekend. So
yeah, not good. That's all. It'll be fast.
I hope so.
So the big news this week was that a software firm called Sentinel released an investigation that they had done into the Twitter accounts hating on Duchess Meghan. And what they found was that there was a targeted online campaign run by about 83 different Twitter accounts who coordinate with each other. And they said they're responsible for 70% of the negative content about Meghan on Twitter.
Yep.
So
83 different accounts. It sounds like too little and yet too much. I don't even think it's 83 separate people.
Yeah, it might not be. Yeah.
I think it's probably maybe something like 50 people, and they are recruiting and they're bringing in haters and doing terrible things. So
BuzzFeed's Ellie Hall, she interviewed the CEO of Sentinel, Christopher Boozy. That's an awesome name, if I'm pronouncing it right, or Bowsy. And he said that this level of complexity comes from people who know how to do this stuff, who are paid to do this stuff. Yeah. So the Sussex Squad people on Twitter, that's where Sussex Squad is mostly, they know this, but it's validating to see it reported like this. And the bigger outlets picked it up too. I got a email blast from People about it.
Yep, People Magazine, NBC News. I saw The Guardian had a big write-up about it. I think The Guardian was basically the only British outlet who did extensive coverage on Sentinel's investigation.
Because it's damning to the other ones who've been towing the royal line.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of the time, the Meghan haters, they're amplifying news from British sources.
Yes. And especially the Daily Mail, the Sun, what are the other ones?
The Daily Express.
Telegraph even.
Yeah, Camilla Tominey, she writes for the Telegraph, and she's very close to Kensington Palace.
The Times of London. These are big outlets.
Yeah. Times of London is owned by Murdoch, I believe, and that Roya Nika, she gets a lot of leaks from Kensington Palace, Clarence House, Buckingham Palace.
So Omid Scobie, he's the journalist who wrote Finding Freedom, and he's got sources in the Sussex camp. He tweeted that at least one author DM'd with one of the anti-Sussex leaders. He wrote, 2 months ago, I was shown direct messages between a known writer and an account dedicated to promoting racist and fake conspiracy theories about Meghan. The conversations were not only disturbing, but more worryingly appeared to have influenced sections of that person's work.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Could be a lot of people, but...
Yeah, it could be a lot of people. I follow a few royal reporters just basically so I know what they're talking about. And I can see who they're following and who they're interacting with. Mm-hmm. There are definitely a handful, more than a handful of legitimate royal reporters who are the senior royal editors of various newspapers who interact with these troll accounts, these abusive accounts.
And there's a point where you can sort of interact with them and not know they're trolly. And there's another point where you can know exactly what you're doing.
Yeah, I'm sure I've accidentally interacted with a troll account too, because if someone pops up in your mentions and they say something that seems on the edge or they're pretending to be confused, and you just correct them or say, what are you talking about? And then all of a sudden the crazy comes out.
The crazy comes out. Yeah. So we talked about this on Zoom, and this is Karen, Susan, Zakia, and April.
So not so shocking news about Meghan, huh?
Nah, we knew that.
Oh, about Angela Levin and the online bots,
Oh, how she followed a lot of them.
how she was getting information from the anti-Meghan group.
So that must have been who Omid was talking about when he posted, he saw screenshots between a writer and an account. And he feels like that it's affected this writer's reporting. So he must have been referring to her.
That's what people were guessing.
Yeah. She's becoming more and more unhinged in the things that she's saying. So it would make sense that she's probably connecting with all this. I just want to know who's paying for this, because they're saying it's not bots, it's people behind these accounts who are orchestrating a targeted campaign against her. Someone's paying for this.
It was essentially a blind item from Scobie.
Yeah, and I think he probably was talking about Angela Levin, but the scary thing is that it could have been several different royal reporters.
So if you guys are listening to this and you have any ideas and you want to text us or leave us a voicemail, our phone number is 434-218-3219. That's 434-218-3219. And you can send us your guesses or anything. We haven't really gotten into the weeds.
I avoid the weeds. On Twitter especially. I just like to just stay in my lane, do my job, talk about what I want to talk about, and not get drawn into, oh, this account is suspended, this hater is saying this. I understand why the Sussex Squad is trying to keep receipts. Truly, I understand why.
They're doing good work. Yeah.
But you are also, at times, amplifying what certain haters are saying.
Yeah, we've been doing this job for over a decade. Mm-hmm. We know how to deal with trolls. Just never fucking talk to them. You cannot talk to them. And even when people complain about mild stuff and you're like, oh, I think I'll explain this, the amount of times that it quickly spirals out of control is just overwhelming.
Yeah.
So we have learned through a lot of
trial and error,
trial and error, that you do not talk to these people. You do not notice them.
Or just say, let go and let God. And you put that thread on mute and you just stop paying attention to it and let people fight on their own and just ignore them. I've started doing that a lot.
Yeah. And it's for our own peace of mind, but also because it's a time suck and we have work to do. Mm-hmm. So I have a theory that some of the very rude attacking, some of the stuff that we've experienced on Twitter was from people posing as Sussex Squad who really were not. There were some incidents that you and I had a few months ago where we got attacked for stuff that was pretty benign, where we were like, whoa, where did that come from? That makes zero sense. And now that we're hearing that there's this whole group of people, it makes sense that they would try to pose as Sussex Squad to kind of encourage infighting in that group.
Yeah, I think that it could be a sophisticated campaign, or it just could be dumbasses who don't know which side to play. Does that make any sense?
Yeah. I think it's both.
Yeah. There's a level of organization at times, and then there's just chaos. It's just shambles at times.
Yeah.
I've often thought that we are being sent trolls in the comments.
Oh, we definitely are. Especially with certain stories, you can tell the change in the comments. Sorry.
Yeah, and the new commenters, and they're all parroting variations of the same talking points.
Yes.
And what's remarkable is how often I'll see those talking points repeated in our comment section, and then I'll go over to the Daily Mail, and they're making the exact same points.
Yeah, and so that's part of the trolling campaign.
Yeah.
And I'll run those IP addresses. They're new people. They're overseas mostly. Sometimes they're proxies, but mostly they're overseas. It's suspicious.
Yeah. And I mean, I enjoy the conspiracy theories of who's paying for what and exactly, what's going on behind the scenes. I wouldn't put it past one of the palaces to pay for people to abuse and harass Meghan online. I'm not sure that that's what's happening.
Yeah.
I think 100% William and Kate have bought bots for Instagram.
For Instagram, definitely, yeah. That's different, though.
I mean, I just wanted to point that out. They bought followers. And once you get into that level of picayune bullshit, what's stopping them from hiring people to abuse Meghan on Twitter?
So I'm sure there's firms that do this.
Yeah, exactly.
But there might be a difference between hiring bots for Instagram, which is quite easily done. Like I get ads for that, and hiring a firm to smear somebody. I wouldn't put it past them. At the same time, there were comments on our site that it's in the best interest of the far right to foment hate against Meghan because she is so powerful. And we saw that in her advocating for paid parental leave. That got so much press. All she needs to do is champion a cause, and it will be reported around the world. So I think that's another potential motivation that someone might have to smear her and to smear Harry, because together they are one of the world's biggest power couples. They're in the top 5, probably.
Yeah, I think that, yes, they're worried about what Meghan will say, but it's also just purely what Meghan represents. Meghan represents progress. She represents multiculturalism. She represents inclusion and acceptance. And the right wing hates that.
Yeah, exactly. And they've already funded so many campaigns to dismantle democracy, to encourage people not to get vaccinated. So, yeah. All right. So for the past couple weeks, we've also heard how Prince William and Kate are going to come to the U.S. for a visit. You know, William had that Earthshot Prize ceremony a couple weeks ago. And apart from Ed Sheeran getting COVID right after he attended that, I saw some people connecting the dots between Earthshot and him getting COVID. We haven't heard much about it. It didn't make much of an impact. And like, who won it? Like, did they highlight those people? Did they even put them on their Instagram? Like,
it was all just photos of Will and Kate on their Instagram. And then Will and Kate also gave exclusive photos to People magazine, and it was just of them.
So, okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, how is it about the cause if it's all Will on the cover of People magazine talking about him and himself versus the,
They are such lightweights. And it just emphasizes yet again that even their signature projects, and I'm just talking specifically William and Kate, because I do think the other royal projects are different. Even Charles and Camilla's projects are different. But Will and Kate specifically, they are such lightweights, and it's always an ego trip. It's just busy work. It's just stuff for them to be in the public eye. It's just stuff for them to like have an event to do, to have a big cause. And here, look at us, we have this big cause.
So I pulled up the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge Instagram. Okay. They did have some of the, no. Hi, I'm recording this later. Okay, I see on the Instagram for the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge that they did give the Earthshot Prize to the Republic of Costa Rica. This was not immediately clear to me until I read down a very long Instagram post, so that's why I didn't see it before. Now back to our regular recording. And the last picture are those black and white pictures that are total copies of the Cambridge's pictures. And then their photographer went to People to talk about how strong their marriage is.
Yeah, that's not suspicious at all. And so at the Keen Shot ceremony, the awards, whatever.
For Kensington Palace's Keen Shot.
It's gotten to the point where I forget that it's actually called Earthshot and like Keen Shot. So at the end of the ceremony, William said, and we're coming to America next year. And they didn't say what city or whatever. So that was the big post-Keen Shot conversation was, Will and Kate are going to America.
And then we heard how they're going to come here and like show up the Sussexes and Americans are going to love them and all this shit. And that's not how it works. That's not going to work for them.
Yeah, I mean, Katie Nichol really got a scoop there. She made Will and Kate sound like desperados, that they're just...
I mean, how hard is that when you see everything they do?
That, like, they know that their popularity has taken a hit in America, and they're really focusing on American media markets and all this stuff. I mean, they're shook.
You can see it because they keep talking to People and us. Mm-hmm. So the week we were off, Meghan had this open letter that she wrote to Pelosi and the Democratic leaders advocating for paid parental leave in the U.S. And this is because in the infrastructure bill, there originally was up to 12 weeks paid parental leave. Like, we're only one of 8 countries that doesn't have paid parental leave. That time frame was cut to 4 weeks in the current bill, and it's thought that it's going to be cut to nothing because Manchin won't concede because he's an old white dude who has money and has no conception for what people need. Anyway, I just wanted to vent about that a little bit because I hate him. I hate Sinema. Like, don't be a Democrat if you're going to undermine everything we're trying to do. Ugh.
Yeah. I mean, I understand the party politics of playing footsie with people like Manchin, but I wish our control of the Senate was not so hanging by a thread.
Yeah, me too.
The midterms are going to be brutal. And if you're in Virginia, remember to vote for governor next week on Tuesday. November 2nd.
Yeah, so it's coming up. So it's this week by the time the podcast comes out. Well, the podcast comes out on Saturday, so yeah. November 2nd, vote. I'm going to definitely vote. I'm registered in my new district.
I was going to vote absentee like I did for president last year, but it got too complicated. They sent me like 20 forms, and I was like, fuck this. I'm just going to vote in person.
I'm going to go on the day. So we talked about this on Zoom. This is from last week, and this is Courtney, Karen, Amira, and Zakiya.
Did you guys see Meghan wrote an open letter to Pelosi and Schumer about paid parental leave? I can already hear like the Daily Mail shrieking about it. But yeah, it was great. She basically just says like, I've been really privileged. You know, my husband and I with both of our babies didn't have to worry about whether or not we could take paid parental leave. We knew that we could. And she was basically like, we just really need to give this to everybody. So do it.
I was laughing at post with the Cambridges, and it was the black and white photos. And I was just laughing because it's, oh, people really like those kind of things where we act affectionate. Okay, we can try that.
They can't even show William's face. Like, they can't have a photo of him looking at Kate with any kind of affection because he can't even fake it.
You can't fake passion. You can't fake chemistry. If you don't have it, you don't have it. And they seem to think they can try and manufacture it, but you can't.
They try to feign like, oh, Americans are so gouged and so unsophisticated. But didn't they always want the Hollywood treatment and to be loved and revered in America? And it was the jealousy that Meghan came from there, that she had it already, that now Harry has access to it, and now they're left out in the cold. That's what all of this was. Of course, you want American acceptance. Who doesn't? That's the whole point of Hollywood. And Hollywood being spread all over the world is this, well, one of the top sources of entertainment.
So yeah, it's like Zakiya said, the Cambridges and the royals in general try to poo-poo at the Americans, but they want us to love them. They want the adoration of Hollywood and celebrities. And, you know, of course they're jealous of Meghan because she has all that.
Well, and just, yeah, and everything about the British reaction to Meghan, an American citizen, writing an open letter to American Democrats about something that American Democrats support. It was just insane. It was like, how dare she be?
They have paid parental leave. They have paid parental leave in England.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, come on. Oh, you want to take that away? One thing I like about when laws get passed is that once they get passed, like the Affordable Care Act, people are like, oh, don't take that away. I really like it. I'm hoping that's what's going to happen with paid parental leave and that we'll still get 4 weeks, but we'll see.
Remember when everyone was like, how dare Obama pass Obamacare? And then, but we want our Medicare, you know?
Yeah, right.
And now, like, Obamacare was historically unpopular, and yet the ACA was very popular. You know, like the branding.
Exactly. It's just a term. It's just... Exactly. All right. So I wanted to talk about this. You were like, it's not a big deal, but I thought it was adorable. I mean, you liked it, but it's just a fluff thing. Meghan recorded a video of her reading her children's book, The Bench, and that just came out today on this YouTube channel for kids' stories called Brightly Storytime. It's her publisher, Penguin
Random House.
Penguin Random House,
It's their, like, kids' YouTube channel so that, you know, authors can read their kids' books to kids.
I just thought it was so freaking adorable because it's just her reading a kid's book and she's so genuine and happy and nice. And then at the end when she was like, okay, bye, and she waved at everybody, I waved back at the damn screen like an idiot.
Have a great day and come back to Brightly Storytime soon. Bye.
And I'm like, wait, I just sat and waved at the monitor of a recording.
Yeah, that was pretty cutesy. I think Meghan, she's like in full teacher mode.
But that's who she is what I'm saying. Like, she convinced me.
She would have made a very good kindergarten teacher.
Yes.
That's her energy.
That's her vibe, yeah.
And what's crazy is that Kate sort of has like an evil kindergarten teacher vibe. Like, she's all about like dressing the part, theme dressing and cosplaying, but like she actually kind of hates children.
I'm coming up with this whole scenario in my mind where she's the villain.
She's the mean kindergarten
She's
teacher.
the wicked witch. And that's really astute. That is very accurate. So late last week, the Queen was hospitalized overnight and some of her events were canceled.
No, midweek.
Midweek last week. Okay.
All right. So the Queen, it was whatever the Tuesday was. That Tuesday, the Queen was supposed to head to Northern Ireland. Basically, she was supposed to be in Northern Ireland for 2 days. She canceled that trip. And then that night, that Tuesday night, she was in the hospital overnight.
So that was the 19th?
Yeah.
9 days ago? Yeah.
No one found out about it until Thursday.
Okay. So the Royal Rota was pissed.
Yeah. And as they should be. Like, that was one time where I agreed with everyone that they had every justification for being pissed because the Buckingham Palace clearly lied to them and obfuscated.
You are using so many big words today. You are. You're picayune and flummoxed and obfuscated.
It's true, though. That's what they did.
Yeah.
They were actively covering up the Queen's hospitalization. And that's completely wrong. She's the head of state.
Yeah.
You do full disclosure. I don't care if it looks bad. Like, it's not a medical privacy issue when you're talking about the head of state. Period. The end.
Exactly. And she's 94 years old.
95.
She's 95 now? Okay.
Yeah, she's 95.
Damn. She's 95 years old. No, I'm just going to say it so I don't have to sound stupid.
Yeah, she's 95. So that's why they should do full disclosure. It's not like, oh, this is coming out of left field. She's 95. She's going to go into the hospital sometimes. It's just normal. For her age, she's going to need checkups. She's going to need to be hospitalized. Tests need to be run. It happens.
Yeah. So my neighbors are mowing again, right when we're recording. I just wanted to say that. In case
I can't hear it over the phone,
through the audio. I can hear it when I'm editing. So after that, the Cambridges pulled this stunt where we got paparazzi photos of them with their kids at the airport. And I'm sure they were thinking that would go over great because, look, we're taking commercial to go on our umpteenth vacation. And it did not because, the Queen had been hospitalized. Like, they could have taken her place in Ireland, but of course they did not.
I don't get any of the Cambridges moves last week. So obviously they had some events like that Tuesday night or Monday night. So they really could have gone to Northern Ireland in the Queen's place. So why weren't they asked? Yeah. I don't understand that. So the photos taken of Will and Kate and the kids on Thursday as the news about the Queen's hospitalization was coming out. But they weren't released until Friday night. I'm still not sure that the Cambridges did that as a photo setup. I think that was the Daily Mail, whatever the paparazzo was taking the photos. I think that was them yanking the Cambridges chain and saying, we still own you. Oh, we can make you look bad if we choose to.
So those photos got published by the Daily Mail and then they kind of buried them?
Yeah, first they took them down. They took down that URL. Yeah, they just deleted the story entirely because the comments were so bad. And then they redid the story without any text, just did it with the photos and like little informative captions. And I think that they turned the comments off.
Because there's 0 comments on that article.
Yeah.
And then there were these articles saying that they were so busy the last few weeks, they needed to spend time with their kids when their kids were on break. And then there was the claim that, they were coming back from vacation when those photos were published. But which
doesn't make any sense.
No, it makes no sense. It doesn't add up with what their schedule was. They wouldn't have gone away for just one day. Yeah, it's very sketchy.
And it's also sketchy that they chose this moment to go on a plane overseas somewhere. This is their first foreign travel since, I believe, their Ireland trip.
Okay.
You know, just as the pandemic was beginning in March of 2020.
Where were they going on the flight?
No one knows.
Oh.
We haven't been told.
So, yeah.
We just know that they're not in Sandringham and they're not in Scotland.
And we haven't seen them since then. It's been over a week. Wonder how they're going to explain that.
Yeah, we haven't heard anything about them since, I think, Monday night or Tuesday night. That was William's last thing.
You know, if Meghan and Harry went away and they were in the UK when the Queen was hospitalized, there would be a huge uproar over that.
Yeah, and I'm honestly shocked that the Daily Mail hasn't run 10 stories about Harry needs to come back so he can be with the Queen. I guess they can't run those stories because William and Kate are on
William
vacation.
Isn't there either, yeah. You want to talk about Princess Mako of Japan. She married her college sweetheart. He's a commoner named Kei Komuro in a private civil ceremony.
It's like a sad story, but it's also very sweet.
Romantic, yeah.
Yeah, they're college sweethearts. They've been together for a decade. She canceled their wedding in 2018 because they were both mired in controversy. And she said at the time that she didn't feel mature enough to handle it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she was sort of falling on her own sword for Kei, who was like this controversy over his mother getting a loan for
from her fiance or something. Yeah, I heard about that.
It was just like this really tabloid story and really exploitative, and I feel bad for them. And like her parents didn't even go to their wedding.
So under the Japanese royal system, if you marry a commoner, you have to give up your title, which she did.
Right. Yeah, she gave up her title. She gave up her like $1 million+ dowry. I believe that she gave up the money because she felt like if she took the money, they would own her.
Yeah.
They would have some say in her life. And she was like, nope, I'm leaving here with just the clothes on my back.
So they had a press conference after their wedding, and they rented the press conference room with their own money because they didn't want anybody to accuse them of using the royal money. And it was just sad. Like she said, she was in pain and hurt from the rumors in the press about Kei. And yeah.
But it was also very loving. Like Kei was very optimistic and saying, you know, we get to start our life now and I get to be with the woman I love. And the way he was even looking at her during the press conference, it was very loving.
Nice.
They're very supportive of one another and they've waited this long. I think it's very sweet in that sense. Yeah, they're going to move to New York. And they're going to rent a 1-bedroom apartment, probably in Manhattan, I would think. And that she's planning to go to work.
And he has a law degree. He got it from Fordham, and he speaks English very fluently. And so he's going to work as a lawyer. So he's super accomplished. I mean, they'll do fine on their own, and good for them, you know.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's a huge deal that he got a job with a law firm in New York. He's going to be able to make enough to support the two of them.
Yeah.
And I mean, she'll probably bring in a salary. I would think that she would work in a museum or an art gallery or something like that since her background is in art.
Yeah.
I'm rooting for them, and I hope that they both get good jobs and that they enjoy themselves here in America.
Yeah. They're being called Japan's Harry and Meghan because of how they were treated in Japan.
And because they left.
Yeah, that too. All right, let's move on to the comments of the week. So I saved this comment of the week. It came after our last podcast, but it was a while ago, and I thought it was really nice, and I wanted to talk about it. So you had a post about Roger Waters getting married, like he got married for the 5th time or something. What was that, his wife?
Yeah, and in the post, I said something about, like, with those kind of stories, I try to gauge if there's going to be any interest in it, because I didn't know if people were going to give a shit if Roger Waters got married for a 5th time. But it ended up being a popular post, and there ended up being a discussion about what we cover and how we cover it.
And we get that sometimes where people are like, oh, we're so sick of the royal stories. Okay, like their whole internet is right there. You know, like, you know, it's in your hand right now.
Yeah, if you want to read about Ass and Ray, go for it.
I don't know who these people are. Or like the Bachelor people. I know some of our readers are into the Real Housewives stuff because that gets juicy. But there's plenty of sites for that. We're not in the weeds on those people. So,
I mean, I wish that I was covering that Erica Jane story because it seems like a lot of fun and like it has a lot of moving parts, but I can't even get into it. I don't know where to start.
It's kind of depressing too because her husband like scammed a bunch of people and now he's under a conservatorship from his brother, I think. And it's just yeah. All right. So Nick wrote, the story of Harry and Meghan transcends mere celebrity gossip and has real social, economic, and historical importance. The stories the royal coverage replaced can be found elsewhere and anywhere across the internet. It needs to be told. It needs to be recognized. The abuse of Harry and Meghan has a real effect on all of us. And then they went on to say that they found us and then they went back and read our archives and that we're the only site where, quote, the relative truth about Harry and Meghan is being captured. I'm sure there's other sites, but because of your hard work, you know, it's all there. And we've chronicled the way they've been smeared in the press.
Well, thank you. It was difficult, especially in like 2018 when the smear campaign against her really started up.
Yeah.
It really did feel like there was this massive shift in how we covered the royals and how everyone was covering the royals because they were just ripping this pregnant woman to shreds.
Yeah. Yeah. We found out later, like, how it affected her.
Yeah.
We didn't even know at the time. You know, she worked really hard to keep up appearances and it was so difficult for her. And, it's heartbreaking to think what she went through.
Yeah. I still remember, like, just the aggravation I felt on her behalf when I was reading some of those stories of, oh, she made Kate cry and, she did this, she did that, she's evil.
They had that one story about her that they twisted a bunch of different ways and tried to make it seem like it was more than it was, and it was nothing. Yeah. Absolutely nothing.
All right. This is one of the stories I made you delete because we had so many royal stories this week. But so Prince William is super mad about The Crown season 5, which is filming right now. Mm-hmm. And basically the Sun got confirmation that The Crown season 5 will have one episode devoted to Diana's interview with Martin Bashir on the BBC's Panorama. The interview happened in 1995. It's iconic. And it's also problematic because Bashir did a lot of shady shit to score the interview.
And in May, they had this investigation and the BBC promised to never air it again because of that shady shit by Bashir.
Right, but Netflix has never made a promise to not dramatize it.
Of course they're going to dramatize it. It's history.
Yeah, it's history. It's a historical artifact. And so basically, like, William has been making some noise and, like, bitching behind the scenes about how dare the Crown do this and blah, blah, blah. My comment of the week is from Princess Peach. And she wrote, can you imagine if William spent as much time doing literally anything else as he does bitching about this show?
He does spend a lot of time doing Rose.
I don't think he's screwing Rose anymore.
Yeah, she probably got sick of his bullshit. Like, I bet all he does is complain. He does not seem like he's very interesting, right?
He doesn't seem passionate.
No.
Like, that's the thing I don't
think about him that way, but
engorged with rage. Yeah, he never seems passionate or romantic or sexual about anyone or anything.
No. Okay. I don't want to think about him like that.
All right.
All right, thanks for listening, bitches.
Thanks, bitches.
Thank you for listening to the Celebrity Podcast. Please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen. If you like us, please turn off your ad blocker when you visit our site. You can text us or leave a voicemail at 434-218-3219. Our music is from AA Alto, Maiden, and via Premium Beat and Sound of Picture. Thanks again.
You'll comment when you're dead.